Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this unboxing, flip through, walkthrough of the Elemental Power Tarot by Melinda Lee Holm. This deck is legitimately a Dustin made me do it. Okay, I am a grown woman. I made my own decisions. But there was a lot of heat coming from Dustin that this was a deck that I really needed to give a fair shake. I will admit, actually, I don't think I anti-hauled this deck, but I may have. I don't think I did, though. I had this on my wish list for the entire time that it was in pre-order status. The major arcana, or the glimpses of it that I saw while it was in pre-order, absolutely stole my heart. And then it came out, and I saw that it was a pip deck, and I was a little bummed, not gonna lie, but I still really loved the major arcana. And then Dustin said it was just really well done, and I'm kind of more friendly with pip decks these days, and I don't know, it was worth a try, right? It's a mass market deck. It comes in at about US $18.95. It is printed by or created by Seco Books, or published by Seco Books. The creator of the deck, Melinda Lee Holm, and the artist, let's see, Rohan Daniel Eason. So the main premise of this deck, and one of the reasons that it captured my attention, is that it is basically based on eliminating human figures. So it says here, eliminating human figures entirely, the cards in Elemental Power Tarot present scenes based on the 5 elements: fire, water, air, earth, and spirit, that invite the reader to step in and explore the card's divine wisdom. I'm real excited to see this. I have it in my head. We'll see how I get along with it, but I have it in my head. Worst case, I could see this being a deck that I convert to a majors only deck, because I love the majors that much. I don't know, though. Ultimately, I would probably just still keep the deck whole. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how I get on with the minor arcana when I get a chance to really look at them. So it does come in this magnetic closure box, and the Elemental Power Tarot guidebook is full color. And it looks like we get pretty decent write-ups for even the minor arcana, which is great. There is a guidance and a challenge message through the minor arcana, so I suspect that's like an upright reversed if you read reversals. And through the majors, we get guidance, challenge, and apothecary. Apothecary? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's just see how this works out, because it looks like there's a little bit of herbal plant medicine kind of thing. Apothecary, so it looks like it's plants. Herbs and plants of some kind. Oh, look, there's a chart. I love me a good chart. Let's see. So here is a major arcana chart that has the major arcana, the Hebrew symbol and letter, the Hebrew esoteric association, which is cool, the astrological glyph and sign, and the astrological esoteric association. That's really interesting. Okay, before we get too down the rabbit hole with the book, let's get into the cards. So tray here, and this does feel kind of thin, the cardstock. We'll see. Dustin swears this is very similar to the Taroko Studios cardstock. I have the Revival Art Tarot by Taroko Studios. I would say it's kind of similar, but Taroko Studios, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I want to actually feel it side by side. Hold, please. Okay, I have my Revival Art, I can't talk. I have my Revival Art Tarot, first edition here. Oh, no! Let's not start things on fire, Lisa. Literally just totally threw the strings in my bag into the flame. Thankfully, nothing is burning. We are a little warm there. Okay, anyways. So let's just take a look first at thickness. So my Revival Art Tarot does have a bit of a bow, but let's just see. Aha! It is definitely thinner. It is definitely thinner than the Taroko Studios cardstock. I think that the Taroko Studios cardstock is a 3. I mean, it doesn't feel like much. They feel similarly bendy, so I know where Dustin was going with that. This has like what feels like a silk matte lamination, whereas this, it might be the same lamination, but yeah, this is definitely a thicker cardstock. Not by much. It's probably something like a 330 to a 310 or a 310 to a 300 or something along those lines. let's just give it a little sample shuffle. I'm not going to actually mix the cards up, but I'm just really curious. Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that. So we'll see how it shuffles at the very end. But first test. This is just me because I'm just really curious. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think that's going to shuffle quite nicely. We'll see how it holds up, but I think that's going to be just fine. It feels less substantial, but it has spring, like Dustin said. It has spring. It feels like it's much nicer quality than I was imagining, so that's good. And I don't remember where I first heard that the cardstock was thinner, but I just wanted to address that because that was my main stopping point. That and the fact that it was pips, that was my main stopping point for diving into this deck. But it looks like it's probably going to be incredibly well thought out from what I have seen, so let's dive in. I'm going to zoom us in. So one of the things, the really magical thing I think about this particular deck is that the artwork inspires the idea that you're viewing the card scenes in the first person, which makes this an amazing deck, in my opinion, for possibly path working with. Right away, there's a few things like sort of the anatomy of the card that I want to point out. Up in the top left here in the major arcana, we have the Hebrew letter and symbol. Just like we saw in that table in the beginning of the guidebook. Where was that table at? Where was the table? Okay, I didn't make it up. There it is. I didn't make it up. So here we have Aleph, which is conception. So it's neat that there is a table. I'm going to keep the table handy just for curiosity because I don't know much about the Hebrew letters, but it might be helpful. And then up here we have the astrological glyph or association. Then we have, of course, the title of the card and the numeral for the card. It looks like they're going to be Roman numerals. Yeah. Now, I got the feeling from the guidebook, so I'm going to keep the guidebook handy. I got the feeling from the guidebook that we have a plant featured in every card. So I'm going to try to point that out where I can, if I can keep the walkthrough going pretty quickly. So we're gazing out over our own cliff here. There's a creature that looks like it might be a dog or like a fluffy little like unhelpful dog. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to like stop me from doing anything. He looks a little bit like a Pomeranian. And then we have the plant medicine here is bergamot. But what I'm really noticing is this cliff leads to these cloud steps leading up towards the sun. So you definitely get that feeling of like at the end of the cliff, there's something more. And I love that. It feels like an invitation to walk forward. Oh, and the backs of the decks have the elemental glyphs, which I love. I think that's really cool. And like an octopusy kind of feel. I'm sure there's more to the back design than that, but that's what's jumping out at me. Okay, anyway. So here in our Magician, it's like we have our magical circle set up. We're ready to do some workings. We have a crystal. We have some cards, some books, our tools. We have a cauldron bubbling away. We have some cinnamon dangling here from the branch, and that is, of course, our apothecary item. There's a real invitation to do work here. There's our sword. Really get the feeling that this is a place where you are making magic, and I love that. This was one of the cards that was available on preview, and again, I really love this. Here's the High Priestess's temple. You get the idea that you could walk up there and sit in that throne, that you can embody that space. There's an invitation of sorts with the pomegranate here, like you could take a bite of that and then go take your seat as the High Priestess. I love that. The Empress card. Here we have, pomegranate was probably our apothecary, right? Yeah, pomegranate was the apothecary. Here in the Empress, it looks like it's rose. Yeah, it's rose here. And this is very much like a cultured garden. And we get the idea that this is the throne that we can sit in as the Empress. And then contrasting the really wild, beautiful, cultured environment of the Empress, we have this very like structured environment, throne room of sorts for the Emperor, and we have this little chili pepper plant here. We definitely see fire element, these chili peppers in the wall hanging or window, and the ram that's just here on the little hill. Really cool. I love all the like the straight lines and the rigidity you could really feel in this card, as well as the hints to the fire element, and of course the ram for Aries. Love that. I adore this Hierophant card. So here it's like we're walking on a path, and then we've come across this like little sacred space here where we can honor the Buddha, the traditions. I'm wondering what, I forgot to notice. Oh, the chili I bet was probably the apothecary, right? Oh, cayenne for the Emperor. The Hierophant, the apothecary item is frankincense, which I'm guessing is going to be, of course, the incense that's available here at the temple. Yeah, a roadside shrine. Oh, is it narrative? It's narrative. This like is literally a pathworking deck. Which if you don't know what pathworking is, it's a meditation style where you imagine yourself in the scene of a card and you sort of explore that environment. You maybe talk to or interact with the characters in the card, that sort of thing. So this feels like a narrative style, first person experiential kind of deck. It says a roadside shrine catches your attention and you stop to take it in. As you do, you notice a vibration in your body that both calms and excites you, growing with each detail you observe. Nothing about the shrine, its location, or those who find it, including the gently purring cat, is an accident. You find yourself inducted into a continuum of divine knowledge. Okay, that's really freaking cool. And then there's the guidance, which would then be your message. There's also a challenge, and then, of course, your apothecary. Okay, I like how the guidebook is structured for sure. The Lover's card, here's really interesting. You could literally picture the Empress sitting here and the Emperor sitting here just based on the environments we saw for both of them. But you definitely get the idea of each contributing to a larger whole. A dizzying clash of styles splits a room in two. Hard, stark, and geometric on one side and soft, organic, and floral on the other. Seen together, each visual style appears stronger, more unique, more purposeful. Choose one, have a seat, try on the environment as your own, and see how your appreciation for the other shifts. So cool. Okay, I really like that a lot. The Chariot. Here, it's like your chariot. And here's your, what look like dogs, I'm guessing. They look like dogs that would be pulling the chariot. Love that. What's our apothecary here? Chicory. What was our apothecary? I keep getting distracted. The Lovers was vanilla. Do we see vanilla in the card? I guess these are vanilla flowers. Yeah, so we do. Chicory for the Chariot. Oh my God, look. It's like I've been working with the lion and he's like rolled over on his back for me. And he's like, okay, you can rub my belly. I love that. I love that a lot. Embodying strength. Oh, this is the challenge. Embodying strength without showing it through force can be a tricky task. Super true. What is this, ginger? Yeah, ginger. Oh, look at me guessing right. Oh, I feel so impressed with myself. These look like poppies maybe as well in the field. Just wildflowers, it says in the book, but still. Love that. That's just fantastic. The Hermit, and I feel like this is my little cottage that I'm getting away to. Love this. What would our herb be? This looks like lavender. Oh, licorice root. Love that. Licorice root creates a protective shield to allow calm, steady integration of information. Licorice root is used in many teas and candies as well as natural throat remedies, which is a great apothecary item for the Hermit card. Yeah, the guidebook, I'm really liking how it's set up. And we'll read one card in full at the end of our flip through. And the Wheel of Fortune, that looks like a peach maybe? But I love this because we have that same sort of perspective that we get in the Wheel of Fortune with one little creature's on top of the tire swing here and there's 4 around at varying points, if that makes any sense. But the wheel is there to be ridden. This really works for me, this tire swing concept, because one of my favorite analogies for the Wheel of Fortune is the playground merry-go-round, which I've talked about in various videos and various speaking events that I've spoken at. I love that particular analogy, and that is fantastic. And it says our apothecary item here is nutmeg. Oh, right. That's okay. I gotcha. Associated with the planet Jupiter, nutmeg carries good fortune and promotes inner expansion. There's more, of course. I can't read it all, you guys. We'd be here forever. Justice. The heart and the feather. Interesting because we normally see this kind of imagery actually in the Judgment card, the weighing of the heart against the feather. It totally works in the Justice card as well. But I think for those of us who have in the past struggled with Justice versus Judgment, simply because I think when you're newer to tarot, getting those two confused is actually really common. I feel like this could actually muddy that a bit. I'd be curious to see what the guidebook says. Let's see. A large scale stands beneath a gnarled old olive tree, a heart in one side and a feather in the other. While they would seem to be vastly different in weight, they hang together in perfect balance, the heart made light by a lifetime of virtue. Yeah, again, that sounds very judgmenty to me. Olive is our association. Our apothecary item here brings peace, balance, and healing. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. The Hanged Man, look at this. This is you. This is what the scene would look like if you were upright, but because this is a first-person deck, you're seeing the forest upside down because you're the one hanging. And this is what I mean by how cool the narrative, like first person experience of this deck is. I think that's wicked. I love that. It gets me really excited. Okay. The Death card. Ooh, yeah. The one card where it's a little tough to see yourself in the first person, hey? Aw, Temperance. Look, we're at the beach. Oh, I forgot the herbal stuff. Let's see. Let's backtrack for a second. So Hanged Man was mushroom. Justice was olive. Yeah, Hanged Man was mushroom. Death is black sesame. And then Temperance, it's sweet violet, which are these plants here. There's a comment here about the half empty and half full glass. Like, is it half empty or half full kind of thing? That's a great analogy for Temperance. Ooh, the Devil card. So there's all these brambles and there's some like money in the background. Like, what are you going to go through to get that? Are you going to get that? Are you stuck from that? Like, what are you going to do? Love that. Rosemary is the apothecary item. The Tower. Apothecary here is lavender. I like this because the tower is fully visible in the distance, but the ground is literally breaking apart underneath your very feet. If you look at this in the first person. Love that. The Star, the honey here, and the swan. Very peaceful environment for sure. And honey is, of course, our apothecary item in this card. The Moon. It's like we're in the water and we have to come out and then go through this like kind of scary forest. In the distance, there's like what looks like some kind of creature. I don't know if you can see that in the background there. Kind of walking or kind of slurking or slurking. I think I was trying to say slinking or lurking, and I came up with slurking. So that dude is slurking. That's our new word of the day. And there is a jack-o'-lantern there. It's all a very kind of foreboding kind of environment. And pumpkin is our apothecary item. Here in the sun, of course, we have sunflower and lemon, and it is sunflower. That's our apothecary item. I like the very barren, deserty, kind of wide open. Everything is visible in this environment. Oh, and here's our judgment card. So we need to kind of rise up. What does it say here? Dig deep to clear the soil of your life. Keep only what contributes to the health of your spiritual and emotional garden. A cross-section of earth is being revealed. As you dig down through the layers, you'll discover all sorts of surprises, some of them pleasant, some of them not. Jewels and skeletons exist side by side, long ago buried and forgotten. Examine them carefully. Treasure can be deceiving. This has definitely got a really great guidebook, which was one of the big things that Dustin pointed out, was that the guidebook in this deck is really, really good. And I would have to agree on the little bits I've seen so far. Flaxseed is the apothecary item for the judgment card. And in the world here, we have what looks like dandelion. Yes, dandelion is our apothecary item. It's almost like we're looking through a portal, like out of a cave, almost like we're being reborn, or like, I feel like there's this, yeah, among the swirling stars and galaxies of the universe, a small beam of light grows larger and larger until you can see that it is actually a sort of doorway, which is so perfect for the world, because there's a sort of a rebirth opportunity in the world, in the sense that we are finishing our journey, or we're beginning a new journey, right? Through it, a field of wildflowers and weeds stretches into the distance, inviting you to step across the threshold and into a new world. Really, that the world to me represents the completion and the beginning all at the same time. So that really works. So now we are going to go, I'm going to move away from the guidebook. We'll look at how the minors are done later, but I just want to do a pretty quick flip through of the minor arcana, because of course this is a more pippish deck. So here we have the Ace of Cups. I love that the wave is actually offering the cup. The swirling water for the Two of Cups. And I'm guessing it's going to be pretty similar. Yeah. 3, 4, 5. You definitely get a more disrupted energy in the way that the pips are arranged in the 5. So that works. The 6. The 7. A little more order in the 8. The 9. The 10. Okay, now here's our court cards. So we have like a little viney wreath and all of this earth here. And our pages are often, I think in a lot of systems, are seen as earth of their element. So this would be earth of water. And then we have fire of water for the knight. We have this helm to represent the Knight of Cups. And then for the queen, queens are normally water of water, so we have the, I guess, the water splashing out of her crown there, adding to the other water. And then, of course, king would be air in this system. So typically the only other version of this I've seen is where the kings are fire and the knights are air. So I think it's very clear in this deck that the kings are air of their element. So air of water in the king's king card. And then we are into the swords. So we have the ace, the 2, the 3, 4, 5. We do get a little bit of fighting energy in the pip arrangement. A little more disruption, as I was saying, like in the cups in the 5 of swords. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here we have our page. So again, that sort of smaller wreath style headpiece. And we have earth of air, knight, fire of air, queen, water. So these are like ocean waves, kind of choppy waves. So water of air. And of course, air of air. So no disruption at all in the king. So he's at home in his element here. Then we have our wand suit. We have the ace, the 2, the 3, 4, again with more disruption in the arrangement for the 5. That's really the only place where I'm really seeing meaningfulness in the pip arrangement, although I'm sure there is still intention elsewhere. Here's our 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we have earth of fire for our page, fire of fire. Yeah, that's right, for the knight. Fire of fire for the knight. The swirling water, like the same background you can see in the cups, is happening behind that card. So that's where our water is for our queen of water. Sorry, water of fire, I should say. Queen of fire. That's water of fire, queen of wands. And then our knight, we have the cloudy background, similar to what we saw in the background of the swords suit here. So we can see air of fire. And finally, we have the coin suit. So we have our ace, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I should point out that throughout the minor arcana, I haven't mentioned this, but we have the alchemical symbol for the element and the Roman numeral for what number it is. So you don't have to count. Like you can actually just refer and go, oh, this is 6 of earth, right? 7, 8. Oh, I didn't check the 5 to see if we saw that disruption. Kind of. It's not very neatly arranged, so it doesn't seem as chaotic as the other suits. But that's okay. 9, 10. And then, of course, we have earth of earth, so the page is wholly in her element here. Fire of earth, and this fire is just like a smolder. There's just these like little licks of fire along these roots here. Really interesting, the fire of earth. Very less dynamic than all the other knights, which works for the Knight of Earth, right? And then we have water running through the earth here with the Queen of Coins, and air peeking out from the earth for the King of Air. Excuse me, King of Earth. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's zoom out. I want to do a proper shuffle, and then I want to read a full guidebook entry from the majors and one from the minors, just to give us an idea of how this reads. Okay, it's a beautiful shuffle. I cannot argue with Dustin. The cardstock is nicer than it seems when you first touch it. I have touched other cardstock that kind of at first glance feels a little bit like this, like the Antique Anatomy first edition. When I first touched it, I was like, oh no. But the Antique Anatomy, that first mass market printing, they fixed it since, as I understand. But that first mass market printing, it didn't have any spring back to it. This definitely does. But yeah, this will be a breeze to shuffle. Even if you have smaller hands, as long as you can get your hands around it, I think you'll have no trouble. It doesn't hurt to shuffle. I think it'll hold up just fine. So yeah, I trust Dustin. I do. He always gives me good recommendations. Okay, let's pull out a major. Oh, that's a minor. And let's see if we can find a major. We'll just keep flipping until we get our first major. Ah, strength. Perfect. Okay. So we've got strength and we've got the 8 of wands. So let's take a peek at the guidebook for these entries. So strength, it says, true strength can be known and felt without being demonstrated by force. A massive lion lies before you in a field of wildflowers, calm and serene, reclining on his back in the sun like a playful kitten. That was totally the vibe I got. Though he sees you approach, he does not jump up to defend himself or display his power. The lion trusts that his strength is known and shows his confidence in that strength by remaining open and vulnerable. Yes, I love that. Guidance. Allow the lion to be your mirror. You contain immense power within your being. This power does not vanish when you are resting and returns suddenly when you are in danger. It lives within you always, fueling your confidence, drive, and courage. Connecting with this power will not cause you to become aggressive, quite the opposite. Acknowledging your inner strength will allow you to be more peaceful than you could ever imagine. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh my gosh. You are strong enough right here, right now, exactly as you are. No one can take this away from you. Your strength is yours to keep. At times it may be quiet and at times it may be loud, but it is always there. Your vulnerability is proof. Oh, well, I'm done. I'm done. This deck and I are going to get along just fine. This deck is literally speaking my speak. Like, this is stuff I talk about with fierce vulnerability and vulnerable badass. And if you've seen any of my talks on self-worth, this is like right in harmony with all of that stuff. Okay, anyways, the challenge. Embodying strength without showing it through force can be a tricky task. How can others see your strength if you don't exert it? Try shifting the goal to making your strength felt instead of seen to work more successfully with this energy. And then about the apothecary, it says, ginger activates courage, confidence, and intuition. Make a simple tea by steeping chopped fresh ginger root in boiling water. Ginger is also excellent in savory and sweet foods and as a note in perfumes. Okay, I'm going to really enjoy working with this deck. All right, let's take a look at a minor arcana card. So we have the 8 of Wands. So let's take a look at our wands. Cups, swords, wands. Okay. So in the 8, we get a kind of summary. Longevity in elemental fire. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, this is cool. Okay, I'm going to talk about what I just noticed in just a second. But first, let's read the entry from the card. So it says longevity in elemental fire. Guidance. You're hitting your stride and beginning to settle into a pace that you can carry on for the long haul without burning out. External pursuits like collaborative problem solving and pursuing goals are well supported now, as are more internal manifestations of this element, such as creative vision and honing instincts. Allow your priorities and projects to unfold naturally while maintaining awareness of overexertion. The spirit is over. This is the marathon. Oh, excuse me. The sprint is over. This is the marathon. Challenge. Avoiding exhaustion in the realm of fire requires constant vigilance and excellent boundaries. Live each day and week as if you'll have to repeat it for a full year or even a decade. Oh, that's such good advice. Set your work-life balance with care and guard it fiercely. Oh my gosh. This deck has such like a nurturing vibe. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how the guidebook reads, but let's talk about what I just noticed. So this is an elemental based deck, and what the creator has done here is freaking brilliant. One thing that this deck has going for it is that it's clearly using an elemental structure. So the same keyword for every single ace, the same keyword for every 2, for every 3, for every 4, no matter what suit you're in. So for example, in the 8 of Wands, I noticed it said longevity in elemental fire. So I quickly went and looked at a different suit, and sure enough, in the swords, it is longevity in elemental air. And in the earth suit, it's going to be longevity in elemental earth. So it's combining a single keyword for the number with the element to come up with the meaning. So you'll be able to learn this deck really easily because the structure and how it's set up is meant to make it easy to learn. The majors will be their own journey, but the minors will be really easy, I think, to learn. So I'm very, very excited about the Elemental Power Tarot. Super stoked to work with it and see how it works out. Like really stoked. So yeah, I'm pretty over the moon about this one. So thank you to Dustin at Modern Metaphysicae. If you are not subscribed to him, check him out. I'll have a link to his channel down below because this was totally his influence that I even have this deck right now. So thank you so much to Dustin for the recommendation and the reminder and the other reminder and the other reminder after that because it was the last final nudge I needed to finally get off the fence and purchase this. So thank you so much for that. Now we just got to get Danny on board. Danny, are you watching this? Are you listening? Danny, pick this deck up. You need it. Go get it. Everybody else, please use your best judgment, but I think it's really cool. And as a mass market deck, I think it's one that is worth giving a second look to. If you are intimidated by working with pip decks, this couldn't be more accessible and easy to learn as far as pip decks go. So if you're curious and you want a simple system for learning how to work with a pip deck, I think this one will be fitting the bill for a lot of you. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think. If you have this, let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you don't have it, let me know what you think now that you've seen a bit of a walkthrough of it, if you haven't seen one already. I'm looking forward to your feedback and comments down below. As always, don't forget to click like on this video if you enjoyed this walkthrough or you found value in it. Please do subscribe if you're new here, and click the little bell so you're notified of all of my future videos. All the links down are in the description box down below for ways that you can support the channel. And thank you so much for joining me. As always, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Thanks, guys. Bye.